Wax on, wax off. What's up, everybody? I think we're live. I'm doing a little test. Wax on, wax off. Great movie for those of you guys who've never seen it. Old school, The Karate Kid, the wax on, the wax off. My big hello to you guys. It's been a pretty crazy week over here. I don't know how many of you guys are dealing with that, but there's moving pieces galore in our life. We're been traveling a lot, new people coming here. Business is growing, both businesses actually, and investments are growing, and I know it's a crazy time for a lot of people, but we're super blessed over here. I hope you guys are super blessed where you are at. We got an awesome Q&A today, so without further ado, let's get into it. I got no other build-up for you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Frankie Finn proudly brings you our weekly Q&A. By the way, I love seeing this because there's huge progress in the questions you guys are making, and it shows me like how far you guys are coming along, which is just amazing to witness. Does anyone know any good social post designers, primarily Facebook ad design? Jordan? I don't use them personally, but the most popular choice for that is nolimitcreatives.com. You can go there. They got a whole bunch of packages for unlimited designs, like Facebook ad designs as well as videos, and they got packages of combination of both of those, and they're relatively affordable from what I can tell, and you can see lots of samples of their work. So I would say that's probably the best bet if you have an ongoing need for that. If not, if you're just looking to try it and see how the outsourcing goes, you probably can find somebody off of Fiverr to make them, more as needed, but you probably have to be super specific about what you want to make sure it works out well. Niklesh, could someone help me for database reactivation sequence for chiropractors? Niklesh, it helps to sometimes, I think, I mentioned this the other day, too many times people are thinking about the technology. Should I send emails? Should I do this? And if you think about the human relationship first, it'll be easier to run a database reactivation. And the human thing is, the first thing I want to know when I'm reactivating a database is when is the last time you mailed these people? Like, how long has it been? So if it's been a long time, like you haven't talked to them in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, for you to just start droning on about your marketing thing is going to be a little bit weird. But if they email them regularly once a month, a newsletter, even if it's boring as shit, they're used to hearing from them, so it won't be totally out of left field. So that's the first thing I want to know. So when you're activating, if they're saying to you, if you find that you haven't talked to them in forever, then acknowledge that like a real human. Say, hey, I know we haven't talked in a while. I was thinking of you guys. I had something cool for you that I wanted to share with you. That's how I would kind of open that. Then the second thing is, this is never a bad idea with customers, is to say thank you. Thank you. We appreciate your business. Give them a legitimate reason why you're appreciative of them. So for me, I always appreciate my Wolfpack Mastermind members because I feel like we're the only ones who get each other. And so I love sharing that kind of fact with these guys because they're just so damn cool. So what is it for you guys and your customers? And then, of course, figure out a way to add some value. Make an offer that is either is more valuable. And I would suggest, as a general rule, don't take away price. Add something to it. It's so easy. We have a guy, for example, who's getting people in the door to car dealerships that bought a car and are coming up close to renewal. And he's just saying, hey, if you come inside and check it out, we've got a free pair of headphones for you. I think they're the fancy wireless ones. So there's lots of ways you can do that. But when you're activating, it's acknowledge where the relationship's at, say thank you, add value, and that's how you reactivate a database. Invite them to come back in, and they will. All right, good question. Lana, Facebook ad account has been hacked and they spent $3,000. What can be done? Just so you know, Lana, it's happened to me about a year and a half, 2 years ago. It sucks, just so you know. When your ad account gets hacked, I have no idea how it happened to me either. The two-factor authentication helps, but this is for anybody else going with it. Contact Facebook support as often as you can. For me, there were two different problems to solve. They solved the first one relatively quickly, which is somebody spent a bunch of money on my credit card without authorization. They fixed that almost immediately, within a day. But then they changed access to my account from an admin to an editor, and I couldn't do things in my own account. it took them like a month and a half to fix that. So I'm just letting you know, you could be in for, just terrible Facebook ad support as part of the deal. Sheng Chia, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. As a media buyer, do you make videos or creative, or do you hire somebody to do the videos for you? Because from my point of view, creative is the most important part. I hired 2 of media buyers and they don't make any videos. Generally, those are probably 2 different roles, but I would say if you're a media buyer and you want to be in demand, like, make sure to do both, because this person is correct that the most important thing people need are creatives, right? Like, the creative is the make or break part. I would say with Facebook ads, there's really 4 make or break elements, and they come down to the human part. It's like, who do you show the ads to? What are you offering those people? And, the copy, the wording surrounding it, and what sort of visual, either an image or video do you use to support it? If you nail those 4 things, Facebook ads will always work for you. So I would say those are probably 2 different roles, but like I said, media buyers, learn both skills. You'll be way, way better off in general. Good question, by the way. Scott, what site or white label service are you finding VAs from? Looking for a VA for Facebook ads creation and maintenance? Thanks. Scott, there's always 2 places I get my VAs from, and I think they're the 2 best places. So one is I go to the most prominent group for that thing. So you say you're looking for a VA for Facebook ads creation and maintenance. Well, I would go to the Facebook ads group, a group like Jeff Miller's, or there's some other good Facebook ads group, but I would go to one of the big Facebook ads group and look for VAs who hang out in Facebook land, because that's a good sign that they have a pulse on actually running Facebook ads, is that they're in the communities for news and updates on those things already. And the other place I would go to is onlinejobs.ph. If you're hiring in the Philippines, it's a good site. And as a general rule, hiring will go so much easier if you run trial assignments with people before you give them first, just complete control of your account and your ad spend and all those things. Just have them create one ad for you in a scenario you're looking to do, and see if you like that or something like that. Because first dates will tell you a lot more about a person than any sort of interview or how people typically do it. Ben, looking for a VA. Anyone has a secret to find the best ones? Yeah, Ben kind of gave away a little bit of the secret sauce in the last one, but I'll tell you the way most people hire anybody is fucking broken, and what will typically result if you hire like most people is you will get B and C level people, which means you'll get people that aren't quite good enough to fire, like they do a halfway decent job, but you're never going to be blown away by their work, and they're going to be kind of remarkably average and just working for a paycheck. And if you want those kind of employees, it's hard to build a really cool company. So you want to have a process that produces A-level people. And the best way I've found to do that, like I said, is to try an actual assignment. So I'll give you an example of this. Whenever I used to do SEO, there was a lot of writing articles and posting it. Especially back in the day, there was even more of it than there is now. But there's still a certain part of that in SEO. But my people were writing articles and posting them, and writing articles and posting them. So my trial assignment was write a test article on this and post it, and I'll pay you $5 or $10 or whatever a going rate for that was. And what would happen inevitably when I would do that, I'd get 20 people, and I would tell you probably half of them literally just fucking disappeared. I just never heard from them again. They either couldn't do it, or it wasn't worth it, or it wasn't the kind of job they were looking for, or whatever. I don't know. They just disappeared. So of the 10 people, I'd probably get 4 who did the task correctly, meaning readable English. They posted it, it's all done correctly. And so I immediately weeded out 16 people, and sometimes I would give a second trial assignment, which would often just be the same thing. I would say, okay, write another article on this and post it to this other site, and then at the end of that I would have 2 good ones. And then you would be able to pick from 2 really good employees, and that's, I found, the best way. That is my secret to hiring the best ones. It's I just test them and whittle them down. You almost want to think about these stupid reality TV shows where they vote somebody off the island every week, and there's some kind of pressure test to find the best cook in America, or to see who's going to survive and win the $250,000, who's got the best voice in the country or whatever. You want to create one of those for your company where you're each week you're having a little pressure test and eliminating a whole bunch of people. And that's the best secret to finding really good people, I found. Balaz, what was the initial reason you wanted to be an entrepreneur, start your own business? I would say there are many. Balaz, like the first one actually is like for me, like I've always had trouble in my life waking up early. So I just needed the freedom to not have an alarm clock. I could never make it to school every day. Like I was always like bad with attendance, and I hated day jobs. And it was always just because the alarm clock, just that start to the day. So one of the things that I vowed to was like I needed to work for myself because I needed to not have an alarm clock. So that was probably the first like little joy in life, is just waking up and saying, there's no alarm clock. Now I have children, so I still have kind of an alarm clock, but it's a much better alarm clock. At least they giggle sometimes, and there's beautiful moments in it. Lily, I could do with some opinions. I'm currently applying for some training and have been asked, what evidence did you have that there is a demand for your product or service? My service is obviously social media marketing, management, SEO, and customer interaction. How would you answer? Twofold, Lily. I would say, firstly, I posted this as a reply to you, showed you an example of like just all the competing services on Google. Like they're there because someone's buying it, right? Like if there aren't 4 trillion social media marketing companies because there's no money in it, the opposite is because businesses need this and are paying for it. Having said that, if you can't easily answer that question of like why there's a need for you, what you may want to be, it's actually like a blinking sign that you probably need to niche down further. And I call this idea the sub niche within the niche, because like, okay, dentist, for example, is a niche. But you want to think smaller than just dentists. Like for me, the first thing I think is, well, I would narrow that down to dentists who are advertising and paying money to promote their business. Like that's a smaller group than just dentists. Or like in the injury space, I would narrow it down even further, and I would say personal injury lawyers who are spending on advertising right now, right? Like you want to think smaller and more tighter, and what will happen is you can create better customized services when it's a clearer target, and there will be like a need and a way to stand out. Because you want to be able to answer the question as a general rule, we are the only ones who blank. As far as I know, we are the only ones who do blank. That's how you want to have it, like this little mini monopoly. And I've gave the example a couple of times on this, but I think it's really, really useful to get your head around it. Your deliverable is not what makes you unique, because it's actually more about what they're trying to build. And a real life example of that is I used to do SEO for plastic surgeons forever, and that was my hook line, SEO for plastic surgeons. There were other people who did that. One day a doctor came to us and said, can you make a mommy makeover website and rank that for like those kind of keywords? And we said, yeah, why not? And mommy makeover is their really expensive service, right? So that's their like $40,000 for sale thing. And we built a little mini website and we ranked it for mommy makeover keywords. But when that was finished, and we didn't necessarily know immediately we had struck gold, but we had, and that we could say we are the only ones who create a mommy makeover mini site for you and rank it for mommy makeover keywords. In other words, like getting them their highest value business, which was way more desirable than like, hey, we'll build you some backlinks and try and rank you. So it's more about like what's going to get done and less about what you're doing. Those are your tools, your social media marketing, what you're doing. So there's a huge opportunity for you in there to niche down and be something specific to somebody that they can't get anywhere else. And if you do that, the demand for your service will be self-evident because there'll be people lining up to pay you for it. Bradford, I need a virtual assistant badly. Website, mostly WordPress content updates, proposal generation via PandaDoc for multiple companies, organization of content written and images for projects, basic social posting, blog loading, communication with writers, etc. Any good sources? Before I answer your direct question for sources of like good VAs, because that's a good question, I'm going to tell you, Bradford, to have success with a virtual assistant, based on your question, you're going to need some things first. And because you're not having them just do like one thing over and over, it sounds like you have like a mixed bag of tasks. Like I'm reading here, proposals on PandaDocs, WordPress content updates, organizing content, posting, blog loading, I don't know what that means. Communication with writers, so I assume they're like reaching out to people. Is each one of those things is individually a process, and the best thing you can do is record it through on Loom or create a Google Doc and explain step by step what you're doing. So when you make a WordPress content update, what are the basic steps to update it? You got to go to the website.com/wp-admin. Okay, and then you got to go here, and you got to like lay that out step by step. And what are the steps step by step within PandaDoc for creating proposals? I'll tell you, we don't make proposals, so I don't actually know what those steps are. What are the basic steps for, like you mentioned, posting on social? So I can tell you personally, in our agency, we have like I take a big piece of content. This is like my content strategy, like for how we market our agency. I take a big piece of content that might be like 10 or 20 minutes, like some kind of like deep dive on a topic. And then I have a VA who has step-by-step instructions for where to post that on LinkedIn, which Facebook groups. There's an Instagram thing. We post on Quora because some of our people use that. And we also like redistribute it to YouTube, and we create little micro content out of that and distribute that. And all of that is a step-by-step process that's laid out that like any virtual assistant could follow. So in your case, if you do that, you'll make hiring a virtual assistant way more easier, because if you don't do that, you're going to look for a diamond in the rough of somebody who just already comes knowing all those skills, which it's such a unique mix that they're probably not going to know how to do all those things right out of the gate. But if you have processes for them, you can get almost any virtual assistant with a brain to go in there and like follow your instructions and figure it out, and follow your instructions and figure it out. So I just have all our stuff loaded into Asana, and somebody can follow it step by step. And if for some reason, the other thing too is if you lost a virtual assistant, then they could, you could bring somebody in and they could follow the training because it's already set up and it's already explained and it already has all like the resources and stuff. So if you do that, you'll have much better success. And then as far as hiring the VAs, that's an onlinejobs.ph kind of post. And then just list all the specific things you're looking for, and you'll find that. But again, you'll make your life so much easier if you have processes. If your VA can walk in and have clear instructions about what they're supposed to do, then most VAs will actually be successful with you. Most virtual assistants want to do a good job, by the way. The biggest reason they don't is because like shitty half-assed instructions, and it's not really clear what's wanted to them, and nobody can succeed in those unclear relationships. It's like if somebody says, make me a logo, and they don't tell you what kind of logo they like, you're probably unlikely to make a good logo in response. So that's all the questions we have this week. It's a short little Christmas week, by the way. I think I'm planning on doing these right through the holidays. I guess one of them's on my birthday in 2 weeks, so you guys will get to see me when I'm a year older. And that's all I got for you guys. Oh, I should mention, by the way, for those of you guys who are interested, who are already using Go High Level or are thinking of getting Go High Level, wanted to put in some upgrades for you guys to make this real cool and badass. So one of the things is we've created for you is a phoneless booking funnel. Like I see so many times where people get into these situations where your clients are saying, oh, all your leads are bad. And the easiest way to fix that is not to generate a phone call, but to generate an actual booking without even generating the phone call. And what happens is then your client just gets people who walk in the door, and they're usually much better when people walk in the door than they are on the phone. Secondly, that we've added, I'm trying to think what are the other cool upgrades. Oh, we got some money-making campaigns in there. I've got some campaigns that have made clients $100,000 or more in 4 days. It's really, really cool, and it's really, really simple. And this is just like, stuff you guys can plug and play as database reactivation or all kinds of other, one-off campaigns if you want to run that for client. As well, we're going to be adding some stuff to help you guys keep your clients longer. So we're adding like a 100-day communication framework that really welcomes them. And as well, we've already created an onboarding snapshot so you can bring people in, welcome them, get all your logins, all that cool stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, I've got a link for it in the group. I'll put it below this video as well. And just go ahead and grab it, and then just send me a receipt when you grab it, and I'll send you a snapshot. Oh, and also, I've asked Go High Level to put in an extra free hour for you guys of support. So that means if you got something in advanced that you want to set up, and it's nice to have somebody to ask to explain how to do that to you. Or if you're just like me, like total beginner, and you're getting into it and you like, have no idea what all the buttons and bells and whistles to do, you can have somebody, walk you through it and explain it in everyday basic English so you can understand, how it can customize and automate your agency. So if that's for you, I'll put a link below this video. Check it out. And that's all I got for you guys in this. I will see you next week. May the force be with you.